Hi my lovelies and welcome to Watermelon Living. So today I am doing a video a little bit different than my normal makeup tutorials. This is about how to start a bullet journal. So I did my own bullet journal. The first bullet journal that I did a lot of research. I found a lot of stuff that kind of, I was like, oh, okay, I like this and I like this and I want that. And so that's pretty much what I did. And then I put into a bullet journal and it failed. It failed miserably. I love what I did. I just think that I put too much into it. So I came up with a few questions. So right now, before you even start thinking about what you need to buy to do a bullet journal, you need to have these thought processes. So here's some questions that I wrote up. So the first question is, what do you do? Are you a teacher? Are you a student? Are you a mom? Are you a business person? Are you a financial? What do you do? So based off of what you do, what do you need to track? What are some things that you need to remember? And this isn't one of the questions, but how do you think? Like, what is your thought process? Are you more of lists? Do you like to draw? Like, what is it that helps you remember things and keep track of things? This is a very important thing, is how much time do you have to spend on it? This will kind of help determine in the sense of how much detail do you want to put into your spreads, how many lines you may want to even do, because there's a lot of shortcuts to make your spreads look nice and colorful without putting so much time into it. And so that'll kind of determine how your layouts look. How often do you need to have access to the information? Do you need to look at it every day? Is it something that, say, this is more like a collections kind of thing? Do you need to look at it once a month, once a year, ever so often? Because then it's how long do you want to keep that information? Because then they'll determine, is it something that you don't see that often, you're not tracking, might be something you track on a monthly basis, but you want it for the whole year. So with bullet journals, you can go through a bullet journal depending on how you do your spreads in like 3 to 4 months. Some people, it can last a little bit longer, some people may not. So that's why that will help you determine what do you want to put in your current, like your day-to-day bullet journal, and what you may want to just have on a separate notebook. So those are some of the key questions that I asked myself whenever I was starting to do my bullet journal. So the next thing is that I'm going to show you is more of how what the next step was for me. So the first one was all those questions that I asked, and then the second one will be pretty much go out and get some inspiration for the things that you want to track. Hello my lovelies. Alright, so like I said, step 1 was to ask yourself a few questions. Step 2 is go to Pinterest or go to all these other types of inspirational places to kind of get an idea of what people have. So what I have here is pretty much, which this would be like 2B, which is what do I want in my planner after I've seen what type of spreads there are. In actuality, you can make a spread for anything. It's just how you want to set it up. So over here, I did a little list of how I want to do my yearly journal, and over here are collections, which are different types of lists, such as places I'd like to go. This is stuff that I want to keep for a little bit longer. That's why they're not with this list. And that kind of helps you determine, do I want it in a separate book or in a different place where I have my list, or do I actually want it in my daily bullet journal? So that will help you differentiate and also make your bullet journal simple, because that is the key, is make your bullet journal simple, especially starting it off. So this is pretty much what I had decided I wanted in my daily bullet journal. But I think maybe the first time, I think just to see how you like it, I think it would be index, key, year at a glance, monthly spread, weekly spread, and then go off with your dailies. But you can, like I said, if you want to put any of these other things that you want to track. It's important that you want to track them, not because I have them on here. And then everything else, just kind of wait and see how your first month goes if you like it. And then I would say start adding things that you think would add value to your bullet journal to where you would be using them. So that was step 2B, is a list. Step 3, I would say, is figure out what type of journal you want. There is lined journals. So this is my old bullet journal. So there's dotted lines. I don't know if you can see these. So these are dotted grids, sorry. And then there is this kind, your normal graph paper. So this one is a Moleskine. So this is their large. I think this one is 5 by 8 and a quarter, I think is what this is. So this one, I can't remember how much it was, but I would say if you're starting off, I mean, you really don't have to spend money on this and say like a month later you don't like this. This, I know with school coming out and everything, or not coming out, getting back in session, this, I remember my husband and I bought it for 10 cents to 25 cents. I actually was going to use this for my bullet journal just to see if I can get back on it, if that's really what I wanted to do, and just figure it out before I ruined another journal. But as you can see, I kind of was going to repurpose this, but then I was like, you know what? I really want to do this, so I went ahead and bought a journal, and I felt like I did my research. So this is another option. But yeah, I would say just maybe get a spiral, or get, a notebook or something that you have lying around that you're like, oh, this might work. So the reason why people may go with the dotted, like everyone raves, oh my gosh, I have to have dotted. And I even fell into the craze too. But it's because whenever you draw a line, and I'll go ahead and do it since I really don't use this bullet journal anymore, is whenever you draw a line, you don't have anything like this right here. If say you draw a line here, you see the lines right there, whereas this you don't see. And then let's do that. Say if I wanted it to be like that, whereas here you see the lines. So that's kind of why they like dotted versus the grid, just because this one looks like a solid box, that one you can see the lines. It's just aesthetics. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but that'll be step 3, is figuring out what size journal you want. For me, like I said, this was my first one. So then I went and got this one, and I'll lay these on top. This is a Lextern. Do I even have it on here? Yeah, it's right here. The Lextern 1917, the one that everyone has. I got mine in a nice orange. But as you might be able to see, if I could get this aligned, they're the same length, but they're different widths. The little bit of width definitely made a difference for me, and that's one thing that I saw in this old bullet journal, was that I needed more width for my bullet journal, so that's why I went with the larger one instead of back to the Moleskine. So that, it depends on how much room you need or how much you want. Again, you being creative, I went with a little bit of a larger one. So now that you figured out what journal you have, now you can know what kind of space and dimensions. The reason is because next step 4, is go ahead and just draw them out. you know, from the inspiration you got, the spreads that you think you're going to do, go ahead and draw them out, draw them in the order that you want, how many pages. And as you can see here, like this one is my future log. So I had it after my wish list. I just went ahead and I was like, no, you know what? I don't like it here. I'm going to move it over here instead. So that's what I ended up doing. And so this way, I'm not kicking myself for having drawn it out and been like, oh man, I knew I should have put it, you know, not had it after my wish list. I wanted it further up. And so you can move your arrows, or, you know, you can move them around with your arrows. And then once you're ready to actually do your bullet journal, you already have a plan. I think that's one thing that people who are new to bullet journaling, they don't plan. And that's something that a person that I follow, her name, or her site name is Sunshine and Stationery. That's one thing that she does. She will go ahead and she has what, you know, she calls or an R&D bujo. So it's like, I'm going to try this type of spread. I'm going to see how this is going to fit for my next bullet journal, or from my next monthly spread. I'm going to try this. So definitely planning is the key to make sure you don't waste any pages and that you end up loving your bullet journal. So once you have your plan, pretty much is get your bullet journal and start making it, you know, again, you know, some people will recommend you going in with a pencil and then going in either with a pen. I sometimes use like little, like the felt tip type of pens. I'll use that just because if you're ever using a highlighter, just a highlighter marker, it, like pens like this or some other ones will actually like run, and I don't care too much for that. So that to me, I think, is the best way of getting started with the bullet journal. So the lesson that I learned, I'm going to show you guys my old bullet journal. So starting off, I have my key. So with the Moleskines, you don't have an index. So I was like, well, I'll just do a key. I don't need an index. As you can see right here, like that's kind of what I'm kind of talking about with the whole bleeding. I don't know if y'all can see it. But anyway, so I don't have an index, but I do have a key. Here's my future log. Maybe move some of the stuff out of the way. There we go. I have my future log here. And also the thing with the Moleskines, they don't have the page numbers, so you have to number them yourself. Then I had my goals, which I actually didn't fill out. It's just you could see the next page. So I had my goals. So this is one collection. And then I actually really liked my goal weight kind of thing, a little tracker, just so that you can see, oh, I made my goal, and kind of see where you're progressing. My ideal day, as you can see, I didn't fill this out. But it's pretty much from 4 to 9 what I want. Excuse me. It's pretty much what I want my day to look like. And for me, like I have to be at work at 6, so normally the first few hours I try and do something, but that sure as heck didn't work. Or it doesn't really work, I try, get up by 5 at least. So then I wanted to track my blog posts, you know, the record, edit, upload, publish, and the first day views. And then do all my channel ideas. Here's another one, here is 6. And then my monthly, and then my tracker. As you can see, there's so many lines. It's one thing that I noticed was I was having to draw too many lines. I had way too many collection pages as well in here. So it was taking up some pages. And then here was my weekly spread right here. This one wasn't too bad to do. It was just trying to see my schedule, and then I went with my dailies. And so I was trying to do all the color coding and all this other stuff, trying to do way too much in here. Lessons learned, you know, it's like, and I was just putting more and more things. I was like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that in here. And I just wasn't really using my bullet journal for what I really wanted it. I gave myself a few more pages and then I tried to do some other stuff. It's just, it didn't work out for me. So that's whenever I try to do something else, and then I came up with the thought process of planning. Now, here's mine, and within like, I would say a month and a half, I have used 84 pages of mine. And so here's my index. So this one has only 3 pages of index before I get to my key. And then here is just kind of year at a glance. I actually like this just because it's at the front and sometimes I need it. I'll move this a little bit over for y'all. And then here's, you know, that future log, or this that I had planned. I actually picked this spread. Here are my goals that I wanted. It's just very simple, something that's in the front that I can see. My ideal day, I actually filled it out. Here's my wish list of things. And then here's where I'm tracking like my YouTube ideas. And then my fitness goals, and that's it. And then I get to my monthly. I did end up sticking one, one collection of weekly chores in here, so that's why I put little tabby there. But yeah, I mean, I try to make it simple. So this, I mean, it's not as many lines. That might be a little bit tedious, and then that's pretty much it. I'm thinking about minimizing these lines, but it's not too bad. And then a thing that I added was budget, time log, just for work, just to see kind of what I'm doing. And then, let's see. Yeah, here's the one for July. Here's my tracker. So one thing just to keep it simple is I'm using the same color throughout the month. I'm not trying to do all the frills and everything. I'm just keeping to one color. That way I just keep one color with me, one marker, pretty much this color with me, and I just write anything that I want. My budget, my time log, as you can see now, and then my monthly goals, reviews, and then here's my weekly spread. And then the way that I'm doing water, down here are little dots, and that's pretty much how I'm tracking my water. You know, just coloring a dot. I don't have to draw anything extra. And so pretty much this is like a 2 or 4-page spread for my weekly. And all I have to do is just do a marker up here, a few lines, and I'm done. My dailies, as you can see right here, I just do the day, the date, and then just do a marker just across, and then I just write. But yeah, I mean, that's the main thing, is just keep it simple. I think that you will actually use your journal so much more by keeping it simple. If anything that you take away from my video is planning, you know, making a list of things. You don't have to go out and buy fancy stuff. Make a list of the things that you want to track, plan it out, and then go to your bullet journal, and then you'll be able to do an amazing job with it. I absolutely love my bullet journal, and I think after I've done this planning, that is the best tip I can give to you. All right, love you all, my Watermelon Living family. Don't forget to press subscribe if you're not part of the family yet. And I am actually gonna start doing, I'm actually gonna do a little bit more of a shorter video to kind of go through my actual July spread. All right, well, I will see you all later. Love you, my lovelies. Bye.